What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to look at the FAQ for BT8 New Hero. It has gone and been published. The lovely folks over at Game Academia have gone and provided a translation, but really, of course, we know it is the lovely Jason Snowjacks, he of the Facebook group, one of the loveliest people in the Digimon TCG community, that has gone and provided the translation. So, thank you very much for providing the translation and making my job way easier. So let's start off then with the Digitama. We've got Hiaramon. Inheritable skill on all turns. While your opponent has no Digimon with any Digivolution cards, you get an extra 1000 power. Does this work if my opponent has no Digimon in their battle area? Yes, it does, because that still means they have no Digimon with any Digivolution sources. Freemon's got an inheritable skill. While you have 3 or more security cards, you get 1000 power. If I have 6 security, do I get an extra 2000 power? No. It's if you have 3 or more, not 1000 for each 3. That is an important distinction. We do have Kyokomon coming in here. On your turn, once per turn, when an effect places a Digivolution card under this Digimon, it gets an extra 1000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. Well, when the card itself is added to the Digivolution sources, does it then activate? Yes. Yes, it does. Yay! Now, Tamer-based, on your turn, once per turn, when a card is trashed from your deck, you draw a card. Does it work if cards are discarded from my deck using my own effects? Yes, it does. They just have to be trashed from the deck, doesn't matter how. And does this card's effect activate when an effect reveals cards from my deck and I pick one and trash any remaining cards? No. When you reveal a card from your deck and then trash it if it's not the one you pick, it is not treated as being trashed from the deck. It is treated as being one of those cards you looked at and decided not to take. This is a pretty important one. This is one I could see people getting wrong over and over again. This is one of the ones I think is most likely to cause people trouble. Now, Hawkmon here, when you play, you reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, and you add a 2-coloured card with red among them to your hand, putting the remaining cards to the bottom of your deck. Does that include option cards? Yeah, as long as they've got red in them, go nuts. Can I add a card with an effect that says the colour of this Digimon is also treated as red? No, you can't, because those Digimon are treated as red when they are in play, but they're not in play, you're just looking at them. Sorry. Now, Aquilamon here, we've got a rather lovely skill. When you're playing this card from your hand, if you have a yellow Digimon in play, you reduce its play cost by 2. Well, what if I've got 2 yellow Digimon in play? No, we see this a lot, we saw it earlier. It's not how many yellow Digimon you have in play. If you have any number, reduce it by 2. Now, Flamedramon comes in here, and it says that when attacking, you gain 3000 power for the turn. Okay. Well, it's also got Armor Purge, so if you would be deleted, you just trash Flamedramon but keep the level 3. So if I've got the plus 3000 but then I Armor Purge, what happens? You keep the 3000, because the 3000 is on the Digimon. Even if it stops being Flamedramon, it still gets to keep it. Now, Master Tyrannomon's got a lovely skill. On your turn, all of your Digimon with Tyrannomon in their name get security attack plus 1. Well, does that include this Master Tyrannomon? Yes. It is a Digimon with Tyrannomon in its name, so you better believe it absolutely counts. Now, Zukiaomon, and I'm probably pronouncing that terribly, I apologise. When Digivolving, your opponent chooses one of their Digimon. You delete all Digimon in play except this Digimon and their chosen Digimon, gaining a memory for each Digimon deleted. And when your opponent's Digimon are deleted, you gain security attack plus 1 for each of your opponent's deleted Digimon. Well, what does that mean exactly? It means that other than the Digimon they chose, and Zukiaomon itself, you delete all Digimon and gain 1 memory for each Digimon that was deleted. Will it affect Digimon in the raising area? No, we know this by now. Digimon in the raising area are not affected by these skills. Come on, we've done this a million times. Can my opponent choose a Digimon in their raising area? No. The raising area is off bounds. It's out of bounds. You don't get to choose it. That means if for whatever reason your opponent wanted all of their Digimon gone, they wouldn't be able to choose a raising area to get rid of all their Digimon. They would have to choose one in play. What happens to the cards when evolving effect if my opponent doesn't have any Digimon in their battle area? Then you delete all of your Digimon other than this and gain 1 memory for each deleted. And when Digimon would be deleted by this effect, can my opponent use skills like Decoy or Armor Purge to stop the Digimon being deleted? Yes. Yes, they can. That is, in fact, why skills like Armor Purge and Decoy actually exist. So Patamon comes along. We've got a new Patamon in this set. Patamon's adorable. At the end of your turn, you can DNA Digivolve this Digimon and your other Digimon into a Digimon card in your hand by paying its DNA Digivolution cost. Well, what kind of effect is this card's evolution source effect? At the end of your turn, the Digimon that has this card in its source and one of your other Digimon can Jogress evolve into a Digimon in your hand that has Jogress before the turn has passed to your opponent. Can I use this card's evolution source effect to Jogress evolve into a Digimon that does not have Jogress? No. Evolution requirements cannot be ignored. You cannot Jogress evolve into a Digimon that doesn't have Jogress. And can I use this card's evolution source effect to Jogress evolve my Digimon in play that is not the colour and level specified by the card with Jogress in my hand? No. You're not ignoring evolution requirements here. You cannot Jogress evolve your Digimon that is not the correct colour or level specified by the card. Good. Good. Now, Vmon, when you play, you reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, and you add a 2-colour card with blue from among them to your hand. And we've got the same ones as before. Can you add an option card? Yes, you can. Can I add a card that says it's treated as blue when it's in play? No. No, you can't. Submarimon comes along here, and we've got, well, quite a lot going on here, honestly. But we're talking about the Digivolving skill. You trash the bottom Digivolution card from one of your opponent's Digimon, and then one of your opponent's Digimon that has no Digivolution cards loses 3,000 power for the turn. Well, if my opponent has no Digimon with evolution sources, i.e. I cannot discard an evolution source, does that mean that I can still lower the 3,000 power? Yes, you absolutely can. Even if you can't discard any Digivolution source, you still get to lower one of them with no Digivolution source by 3,000 power. Now, Angemon's got a rather lovely skill. On your turn, when this Digimon would Digivolve, if you have 3 or fewer security, you recover 1. Recovery's always nice. What exactly is the timing to activate this? When the Digimon would evolve is after declaring an evolution, but before paying the evolution cost. That could be important, remember that one. Does this card's effect activate when Jogress evolving? Yeah, it's still evolving, so you're absolutely fine, this absolutely works. Now, Captain Hookmon is my choice, one of the best artworks in the set, and on all turns, when your opponent plays a level 5 or higher Digimon, you gain a memory and draw a card. Does this activate if my opponent's Digimon evolves into a level 5? No, because that's not playing, that's evolving. Does this card's effect activate when my opponent moves a level 5 or above Digimon from the raising area to the battle area? No, because, well, that's not playing. That's different. It doesn't work. Now, Frozamon's a rather lovely Digimon here, which basically says, on your turn, while your opponent has a Digimon with Digivolution cards, this Digimon cannot attack. Well, when my opponent has a Digimon with evolution sources in their raising area, does this mean I'm not allowed to attack? No, because Digimon in the raising area do not count. It also says that on all turns, when you trash a Digivolution card of your opponent's Digimon, you return an opponent's level 3 Digimon to its hand. Well, does that activate when my opponent activates Digiburst? Yes. Yes, it does. Which is slightly confusing to me. Now, from the translations we've got from places like DigimonCard.dev, who have provided our translated proxies, they're awesome, It says when you trash a Digivolution card, but the FAQ as translated on Game Academia clearly says, does this card's evolution source effect activate when my opponent activates Digiburst? Yes, it activates. And the evolution source effect here is, when you trash a Digivolution card from one of your opponent's Digimon, return a level 3 Digimon to its hand. Yowza. Now, Imperialdramon Fighter Mode is one of the ones that people are getting a little bit excited about, as they well should. When you are attacking once per turn, if this Digimon has a blue Digivolution card, unsuspend one of your Digimon. If it has a green Digivolution card, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Okay, so if I have both a blue and green card in its evolution sources, do they both activate? Yes. Do both of these cards, when attacking effects, activate if it only has one 2-color card that is both blue and green in its evolution sources? Yeah, they both work. Job's a good un. Now, Armadillomon, when you play, you reveal the top 4 cards of your deck and add a 2-color card to your hand. You know this by now. You can grab an option card. You cannot add a Digimon who also counts as yellow. Angliamon comes in this particular set. And we got a rather lovely skill here. When you are attacking while you have a blue Digimon in play, one of your opponent's Digimon loses 3,000 power for the turn. Does it work when the Digimon itself that has this card in its evolution source is a blue Digimon? Yeah, because you've still got a blue Digimon in play, so job's a good un, you're absolutely fine. Now, Magnamon comes in here, and it's got a skill whereby when you Digivolve, you unsuspend this Digimon, and for each card with armor in its stage in your trash, this Digimon gains 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. Well, after it gets plus 2,000 power for each armor stage, if I then activate Armor Purge, what happens to my power? Nothing. Because at that point, you've already counted up the armor stages, you've already done it, you've already given yourself the boost. Essentially, nothing happens, you keep the boost you've already gained, but you don't gain any more boost for having now another armor-type Digimon in your trash. It stays as it was. Now, Rapidmon's got a nice Digivolution skill, lets you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon for each of your Tamers in play, and then up to 3 of your opponent's suspended Digimon lose 5,000 power for the turn. Well, if I've got 2 Tamers in play, I can give up to 6 of my opponent's Digimon minus 5,000 power? No. It means that up to 3 of your opponent's suspended Digimon get minus 5,000 power. Doesn't matter how many Tamers you got in play, it is capped at 3. Now, Betsamon haunts my dreams. I hate it. But when you're Digivolving, you can trash a card in your hand, and then this Digimon is also treated as the colour of that Digimon for the turn. And then if you've got 2 or more colours, you draw 2 cards. Nice. Well, if I discard a red card for this card's effect, does this Digimon then count as having 2 colours of yellow and red, letting me draw 2 cards? Yes. Yes, it absolutely does. It's kind of the point. It's part of what makes it such an interesting card. If I discard a blue and green 2-color card, am I then a yellow, blue and green Digimon and have 3 colours? Yeah, absolutely. That's what the card says. Now, Cherubimon comes in here with a lovely play skill. When you Digivolve, you activate the following effect for each of your Tamers in play. One of your opponent's Digimon gets security attack -2 until the end of your opponent's next turn. Well, when I have multiple Tamers in play, can I choose that many separate Digimon to give security attack -2? Yeah, absolutely. That's how the card's designed. When this skill activates 2 or more times, are they considered to be activated in separate timings? No, all of this is activated at the same time. That's fairly important. Now, as a Longmon is back in this set as a dual-colour Digimon, got a nice little skill. When Digivolving one of your other Digimon, you may unsuspend that Digimon. Well, when my Digimon in rest evolves into this Digimon, can its your turn effect put this Digimon to active? No. It works for your other Digimon, specifically says it on the card. It does not work for this Digimon. Sorry. Now, Shurumon's got a nice little skill here, a Digivolution skill. One of your opponent's Digimon with blocker can neither attack nor block until the end of your opponent's next turn. Well, when a Digimon that was targeted by this card's effect loses blocker because they evolve, or devolve, or lose an evolution source, or whatever, do they then become able to attack or block? No. Essentially, there is a point in time, and at that point in time, if they have blocker, you can essentially turn them off for a turn. Doesn't matter what happens after that, they are turned off, and they ain't coming back. Now, Examon, when Digivolving, you may suspend one of your Digimon to unsuspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Can I suspend Examon itself? Yeah. The rule essentially is, it doesn't say one of your other Digimon like Azalongmon does, it says one of your Digimon, and this is absolutely one of your Digimon. Now, Shivamon here, this is a card I am extremely excited about. It's one of my favourite cards in the set. It looks awesome. And the really good thing about Shivamon, of course, is that on your opponent's turn, while all your Digimon are suspended, your opponent can't use option cards. So when my opponent has this Digimon in play, and on my turn, after I used option cards like, I don't know, Smash Potato, to reduce the evolution cost the next time my Digimon evolves, then all my opponent's Digimon become in rest. Does that mean that the skill of Smash Potato then stops working? The answer is no. I can't play an option card at that point, but an option card like that which has previously been played, the effect will still work. Similarly, if I've got a card that uses delay, for instance, can I then activate the delay skill of an option card that was previously played and, it is now on the field? Yes, I can. I'm not playing that card, I am activating the delay skill, and that is a very different thing indeed. Now, Kokuamon is one of my favourite cards in the set. I think it's brilliant. On all turns, players cannot ignore Digivolution requirements. What kind of effect is this? The effect stops both players from evolving when effects say, ignore Digivolution requirements, or from Digimon that do not meet the Digivolution requirements. Does this stop the effect of hybrid stage card evolutions? No, because they don't say ignore evolution requirements, and they are in fact evolving normally, they're just pretending that a Tamer is a level 3 Digimon. Does this card's effect stop Jogress evolution or special evolutions? No, because they're still evolving properly, they're not ignoring Digivolution requirements. When this Digimon in play, can the effect evolve without paying its cost activate? Yes, because it's not ignoring Digivolution requirements. The rule here seems to be quite simply, look for the phrase ignoring Digivolution requirements. That's what you're going for here. Lovely. Now, Fundamon is also treated as Mamamon. Well, does this card's effect treat the card's name as Mamamon in the hand, the deck, trash, etc.? Yes. Yes, it does. Because it's the name of the card. It's not when this Digimon in play is also counted as. It is literally the name of the card that is being changed. That's different. And does this card's effect treat this card's name as Mamamon even in the raising area? No! Nothing works in the raising area. Nothing. Which does kind of go against the first ruling here a tiny bit. They don't seem entirely in line with each other, if I'm honest with you, but hey-ho, nothing works in the raising area. I honestly think this should be the exception. This upsets me a tiny bit, but they don't really care what I think, so gutted Wossy, quite frankly. Now, Skull Knightmon Cavalier Mode comes in here as a fairly wordy new card with lots of cool stuff. And this card or Digimon is also treated as Skull Knightmon and Deadly Axemon. So it's the same ruling as before. Yes, it counts in the hand, deck and trash. No, it doesn't count in the raising area. Now, we got ourselves a new Greymon here with an inheritable skill whereby when you have a red Digimon in play, you gain blocker. Lovely. Well, does this card's evolution source work where the Digimon itself is red, i.e. you Digivolve Greymon and end up in a red Digimon? Yes. Yes, it does. Because you've still got a red Digimon in play. You're good. Now, one of the Digimon whose names I am less fond of, Hisyayamon, and I'm probably pronouncing that terribly, and I can only apologise. But essentially, when a card is added to this Digimon's Digivolution card by your effect, you can Digivolve this Digimon into a Digimon card with X antibody in its type in your hand by paying its Digivolution cost, and then reduce the cost of that Digivolution by 1. Can I evolve into any X antibody type regardless of evolution requirements? No. The card does not say ignore any Digivolution requirements, ergo, you must follow the usual Digivolution rules. BanchoMamamon is a card that intrigues me very, very much. I like this one. This one seems like fun. When Digivolving, you may reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and for each of your opponent's Digimon, you may play a card with Mamamon in its name from among them, with a play cost of 10 or less, without paying. Well, what happens if my opponent doesn't have a single Digimon in play? You reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Your opponent has no Digimon in play, so you cannot play any Mamamon for free, and then you trash the remaining cards, which is all of them. Sorry. Of course, this is an optional skill. It's a you may, not a you must, so, choose not to if you're worried. There we go. Job's a good un. What cost is it referring to? Obviously, the play cost. There we go. It basically means you can't get BanchoMamamon. All the others you can. You can't get a BanchoMamamon. That's why that little thing is there. And finally, BlackWarGreymon, which is proving to be a pretty gosh darn good card over in Japan at the moment. It's got a Digivolution skill, whereby if there is a red card in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, you may choose your opponent's Digimon. If there is a black card in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, you may choose your opponent's Tamers, and then delete any number of chosen cards whose total play cost is 6 or less. Okay. If I've got both red and black Digivolution cards, can I go for Tamers and Digimon? Yes, you can. If there are red and black cards in my Digivolution sources, can I choose my opponent's Digimon with a play cost of up to 6 and Tamers with a play cost of up to 6 separately? No. It is a total cost of 6 between Tamers and Digimon. When this translation first came out, this was slightly confusing. It wasn't entirely consistent. It is now nice and clear. And do both of these cards, when evolving effects, activate if it only has one 2-color red and black card in its evolution cards? Yeah, absolutely. Because dual-color Digimon are dual-color. So if you've got one red-black Digivolution card, then you have a red Digivolution card, and you have a black Digivolution card. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's enough for now. Part 2 will be here tomorrow. For now, you know the deal. I want to hear your opinion on all of these rulings. I want to know which of these are great and which of these are a bit less good. Unfortunately, for me, I do have to say Kokuamon is slightly less good than I was thinking, and that makes me a little bit sad. But some of these, as I've pointed out as we go through, are really quite important and you need to know them. But now it's over to you guys. I want to know what you think about this. I want to know which of these rulings surprise you. I want to know which of these you're going to be taking advantage of. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.